Hi everyone, I hope you're all well. Tonight I'm going to do a reading for you all, and this is part of my new online program called the Soul Star Oracle Circle. And as many of you know, I did Rebecca Campbell's Starseed Oracle qualification. So I'd be trained in order to read from her cards. And funny enough, I bought these cards years and years ago when I started doing my Reiki training. And I kept looking at them, played around with them, and kind of understood them, but didn't. But I felt very drawn to her pictures as they're absolutely beautiful. Anyway, fast forward a few years later, I then come across and start working alongside Rebecca with her course, which was absolutely fantastic. And even though she did tell me in one of her sacred circles, which was actually beautiful, and she told me that I didn't really need the cards, I was the oracle, as in, you know, the cards were just a resource there for me, and that I actually had the knowledge within me. So I've decided to do a new moon reading following Rebecca's guide. He has an actual, I don't know if you can see that, a new moon reading, and it's a 3 card spread. So the first card is the key theme for the month. Second card is what is your soul calling you towards this month? And your third card is how can I tend to do it this month? And I absolutely love her protocols and how she sets them out. Um, so I felt quite compelled to do this tonight for you all. And I've just asked a question about this new moon. I know the new moon doesn't start till Monday, the 15th of June, and I'll definitely be seeing some of you on my sacred soul activation circles. Hang on a minute. My computer's just suddenly lost a bit of its power. We can't be having that now. There we go. Um, so I've asked it some questions, blessed it with a little bit of Reiki, and I'm going to go through it all with you. So, are you ready? So, the first card I pulled, hopefully you'll be able to see this. This is called the Child of the Cosmos. Okay. And basically, as I said, the first card is your monthly theme. Okay. So this is your first card. Now, this might not apply to everybody, but I felt somewhere along the line somebody needed to hear this, and that's absolutely fine. So the monthly theme, as we know in this new moon, the new moon is in Gemini. So that's all about communication and connections with others. There's also a healing element. If we look into the numerology of the new moon, it's the 15th. So 1 + 5 is 6. So when we're looking at the new moon, the numerology of the number 6, it's all about healing. Okay. Healing, harmony, balance. And that's what we need to look at right now. So the child of the cosmos, if you see that, it's basically a woman who's been held by the sacred cosmic energy. And basically, it's saying the intelligence of the universe lies within you. Now, we all know that we are God's highest form of creation, whether we believe in that or not. But let's face it, we didn't just suddenly arrive here. We were created from source intelligence. So it's actually showing me that everything you need to know is actually inside of you. It's not actually outside. We spend most of our time looking outside of ourselves, looking for answers, when actually they're already within you. And as I say to a lot of my clients, you just got to trust the process, trust divine timing, no matter how impatient you're feeling. You need to work with the law of rhythm. So the law of rhythm is everything has its order, like the flowers know when to bloom. They don't have an alarm clock going, come on, up again. It's time to get up. It's time to shine and be yourself. No, they work with the spiritual law. So they work with law of rhythm. And we should do exactly the same by sitting quiet, grounding ourselves, we should be able to get to the knowing of what we need to know. As I said, we're God's highest form of creation, and we should be able to tap into that infinite wisdom and intelligence of the universe. Now, some people do need a bit of guidance, a little bit kind of pushing along the way, and that's absolutely fine. But this card is just telling us for the month of June, you just got to trust the process, and you've got to listen to that inner voice more. What is it telling you? So if you're feeling a little bit cranky and you're like, what the hell is going on? Maybe your old life is falling apart, old ways of working, maybe friendships, relationships are breaking down. All you need to know is you are a child of the cosmos. We make up the universe. So that was the first card that I pulled. The second card was all about the calling. So what is your calling? And I absolutely love this card. To me, this is like card of dualities. So this is called Forge, Don't Follow. So basically what it's saying on this card is pave a new path. Be the leader you wish you had. Now, for some of you, you might look up to people, you might have a coach, a spiritual leader, somebody that you look up to. But I know there's other people out there who feel a little bit lonely. They may not have anybody to look up to. They might feel a little bit lost and think, what the hell is going on? Or they might be creating something in their life that nobody else has ever done. So they don't have anybody to talk to about it because they don't know anybody else in their field or their industry that's doing what they're doing. And what this card is saying, this is your calling. So there's two dualities, okay? This is what's going on here. This is where you are. Okay, so you're not sure where to go, but this is what you're aiming for. So I like to think of this card, think of it like the kingdom of heaven. Again, I'm not talking from a religious background, no way. I see this more of a spiritual thing. So when I see that greenery, this reminds me of like the kingdom of heaven. Where do you want to be in your life? Now, you may be able to visualize the kingdom of heaven in your mind, but you might be trying to find, where is this place in reality? Where does this place actually exist? And sometimes we have to pave that path. Sometimes we have to build it ourselves in order to find this place, because the place does exist. It is somewhere in the ether, in the physical realm, because everything is done. So it is built somewhere. Your present self here has to build it and catch up with your higher self, catching up with that future version of yourself that's already built it because it's already done. So you need to pave your own path. So somebody here that needs to hear that, they need to hear that you build your own path and not to follow the herd, because it's not working, is it? Let's face it. Sometimes when we follow the herd, you end up getting even more lost. It's like following the Pied Piper. Where are you going? So I want you to follow your inner GPS, your inner guidance. And you might be the kind of person who lives by their own rules and doesn't live by other people's. Remember, we should always live by the spiritual laws. So work with the law of correspondence. So what aligns with you vibrationally? Where do you need to be? So above, so below. Here it is here. Okay. So you just got to remember, along this path, it's a bit like Rome wasn't built in a day. Your ecosystem, your world that you're building wasn't built in a day. It's piece by piece, level by level. Okay. Think it a bit like Lego bricks. You just got to take two little bits and try and piece them together. Where do they fit? Where does this path lead you? Okay. You might feel like you're in two worlds. So you might be saying, well, actually, I really love this old part of my life, but at the same time, I want a little bit more. And sometimes we can't jump from one timeline to another. Sometimes it takes time. So again, that divine timing. So you might be wanting something really, really badly, but the universe going, nah, you're not ready for that because you haven't even started digging your path. Never mind, you can't see the wood from the trees. You haven't started digging the path, so we can't give it to you yet. So don't wait to be led. You are the leader of your destiny. So that's the calling I feel for June for a lot of people. And the next card I pulled was card 3, which was an action. So what action do you need to take? What aligned action? And the one that came up, I don't know if you can see that, it's like a building. And actually, I remember Rebecca was telling us that this was actually a photograph that she took of a building in Egypt, okay, a temple. And it reminded her of like an opening of a portal. So for here we have the blue flame. So spontaneous awakening, activation, and it's time for integration. So I want you to take this time to really visualize, where do you want your work? Where do you want it all to go? Because this is an activation card, okay? Oh, sorry, got a text message going off there. So as I was saying, so this is an energy card. So it's all about activating new energy within you, okay? So where do you need to take aligned action? And sometimes you can be in the most messiest part of your life and it feels more difficult. But sometimes you have to have a breakdown to have a breakthrough. So I would say be gentle and kind with yourself. Just take a moment just to ground yourself, whether that's taking your shoes off, going out in nature, placing your feet onto the mud or the grass and just ground with the earth. It might be getting up first thing in the morning so you get that first bit of sunlight and you're just sitting there and just feel that sunlight on your face, or maybe going for a walk out in the woods to ground with nature. Or it might be, you want to take a nice warm bath, maybe put some Epsom salts or magnesium flakes in there, just to kind of really ground and cleanse you. And water's good because water's a portal, as we know, it's sacred water. So it might be that you just need a bit of reflection time, a little bit of downtime to say, do you know what? I need to take a pause. I need to stop. I need to think about, where am I going with my life? You might want to sit with some music and visualize and thinking about your future self. Because remember, you got to start building those paths to Rome. But as we know, Rome wasn't built in a day. But in order to build these, you've got to take the aligned action. And also, you need to remember you are God's highest creation. God was the creator. You are also the creator. You also need to remember that you are unique and that there's no one on this earth that comes close to you. You have unique gifts, unique talents. You would have had unique experiences because everyone perceives experiences completely different. So we're all here for a reason. We all have a purpose in this life. Our soul came here for a reason, and only you will know what that reason and what that purpose is. So you need to take some time out and think about, what do you really, really want? Because I don't know about you, but something is really shifting in June. And even I feel it deep inside me. And I see parts of my life falling away, getting ready for new energy to come through, new ideas to be birthed through, new collaborations, working relationships, new people coming into my life. And you might be feeling that as well. Sometimes it feels really exciting, and other times it feels really daunting because you just don't know what's coming up next. I then pulled another card and asked my soul guides, what else do we need to know? So it came up with the whale and orca elders. And as we know, these are such spiritual, beautiful animals, and they all communicate through frequency, through sound frequencies. So I really challenge you to actually share your song with the world, share your voice, because your words and your voice, it carries an energy, it carries a frequency, an activation. Sometimes you can use words, and somebody might say, do you know what? That actually triggers something in me. Yeah, I never thought of it that way. I need to look at it this way. Or there might be somebody out there who really needed to hear the words that you had to say. They might say, do you know what? Thank God, that's me too. I was feeling exactly the same way. And I thought it was just me. I thought there was something wrong with me. So for the whole month of June, I want you to start sharing your voice, share your story. And everybody has a story and everybody has a song in them. So, what is it that you need to share with the world? And who needs to hear it most? Just take that time to think. And yes, it can be really scary putting yourself out there, worried about being judged, worried that people may laugh at you or think, well, what does she know? But you know what? Just let that shit go. Just let it go because somebody needs to hear it. You know, I remember when I first, got told that this was part of my gift, and I was like, nah, I can't do all this. No, this is silly. No. And actually, when I started practicing with Rebecca's clients, well, we were all her clients, and we were practicing with one another. It was really eerie how some of us were getting really clear messages for other people. And it's like, wow, where did that voice come from? I didn't even know that was inside of me. And as Rebecca said to all of us, it's all within inside us. It's whether you choose to accept your gifts. It's whether you can hear those gifts. So you just need to tap into them. So somebody needed to hear that tonight. And I hope that really helps. Do drop any questions or comments that you have, and I'll try and answer them the best I can. If I can't, I'll find a way to get the answer to you. But yeah, have a good one. And I will see some of you on the Sacred Soul Activation Circle on Monday night at 8 p.m. And I'll see some of you in my group as well. Take care and have a lovely evening. Good night.